day, everyone. I am Kike Lomo Umbakogo. On behalf of First Registrars and Investor Services Limited, I warmly welcome you to today's webinar on Building Legacy SMEs, a business that outlives you. We are so delighted to have you join us in today's webinar that promises to be insightful and impactful. As entrepreneurs and business leaders, one of the most important questions that we should ask ourselves in business is, will this business outlive me? Will this business thrive beyond me? Today's webinar promises to speak to all of this and much more. And in our midst this morning, we are privileged to have a very experienced speaker that will speak to the subject. Also, we have in the house our moderator who will guide us through the conversation and also facilitate question and answers by the audience. I would like to encourage us to please make the most of this session and also the question and answer segment. Permit me to introduce you to our moderator this morning in the person of Mrs. Ajibotafe Akonde Modupeola. She'll be taking over from here and guide us through the conversation. Over to you, ma.
Thank you so much, Kike Lomo. We are so happy to be here once again. It's been a very rainy day, but we thank God for the opportunity to come together once again to talk about a very important topic, building legacy SMEs. I'm delighted to be your moderator for today. With us, as the host said, is Dr. NOSIKE Agokei. Dr. Agokei is a management and corporate governance consultant, a tax practitioner, and a board advisor to a number of blue-chip companies. He holds degrees of BSc Economics from the University of Ibadan, MSc Economics, Enugu State University of Science and Technology, doctorate degree DBA, University of Liverpool, England, LLB, University of Lagos, BL, Nigeria Law School, and University of Cambridge, United Kingdom. Also, he holds professional qualifications of CFA, Fellow Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCIS, Fellow the Chartered Governance Institute, United Kingdom, FCI Arbitration, Chartered Institute of Arbitrators of the United Kingdom, FCIB, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, FIOD, Institute of Directors, Nigeria, and FCTI, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria. His experience cuts across several senior management positions in several companies, including Nigerian Breweries PLC, First City Monument Bank PLC, John Holt PLC, where he served in several positions, including the position of MD CEO. He was also the Group Managing Director and CEO of MTI PLC. He has held several board positions and served on some boards, including the boards of Planet Governance Advisory Limited as the chairman, Satari Asset Management Limited, Prestige Assurance PLC, Governing Council, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, and Planet Capital Limited. He previously served on the boards of Leonard's Nigeria PLC, Resort Savings and Loans PLC, their mortgage bankers, chairman, Governing Council, Institute of Chartered Secretaries and Administrators of Nigeria, member, Enugu State University Board Business Council, West Africa Drug Company Limited, Global Markets Limited as chairman, and the Onigbongbo Ikeja Primary Health Care Board. He was appointed by the government to serve on this board, among several other positions that he has held. out of
Just summarize.
a lot of assignments that he has been privileged to undertake, I'll just mention one or two of them. He's served on the board and he served as a board and management trainer on corporate governance as Gas Aggregator Company Nigeria Limited, among several other assignments. Today, he will be sharing with us some very invaluable insights on our topic, drawing from his extensive expertise in management, accounting, governance, and legal ramifications of building a lasting business legacy. So without much ado, please kindly welcome with me once again Dr. NOSIKE Agokei to this auspicious webinar, Building Legacy SMEs. Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
So you have a very impressive resume and somewhat intimidating to some of us out there, and when we grow up we want to be like you, sir. So the floor is yours, sir. So we would like you to just share with us your wealth of experience on how to build a legacy SME, because we know that out there are several people who have businesses and look forward to passing on this business to the next generation, just like we have in several developed countries out there. Why is it that Nigerian businesses are not thriving as much as businesses out there in the developed world, and how can they thrive? So the floor is yours, sir. You may want to just speak to the topic, and then we take questions from our audience, viewers out there thereafter.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning, moderator. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
I would like to thank First Registrars for deeming it fit to invite me to speak on this topic. This is a topic that, not exactly the same, but on the same subject that I've done for a couple of organizations. And it will interest you to know that medical doctors got worried that they were having issues with sustainability of their businesses.
Yeah.
And they invited me to speak to them on succession and building, businesses that can last for a long time. And one of the things that we found out is what I was going to discuss. Some of the things we found out is what I'm going to discuss today, where the issue of succession was a problem. The issue of planning, how to manage their cash, how to manage their staff, and how to develop a system that will guarantee that the business lives forever. In their own case, many medical doctors, once they set up a hospital, they have a child. They say, this child born today will take over from me. And so when the child grows up, they say you must go and study medicine so that you can come out. But the doctor will be working with other doctors. That's the owner. He does not pay attention to those other doctors. He just waits until that little boy or girl graduates to come and take over and be a boss to those doctors who have worked with him for several years. It can't work that way.
That's true.
And once they come, those doctors who have been there, who know the system, who have added value, will go. And in most cases too, the little boy or girl, once they graduate, they say, Dad, I've studied medicine as you wanted me to, but I want to be a musician.
Wow.
So they are not interested in even running the hospital. That's why you see most old hospitals that some of us used to know are not there anymore.
That's true.
So this is a very good topic, and slides. This is a very good topic that you have built, because it's a major problem. If you know a company known as Tata, if you have heard of Tata Group is a company in India. It was set up by one man, family business. Today, Tata, if it's not richer than Nigeria, it should be very close to just one company. And they've run this company for several years and eventually said that it was too much for the family to own. They then set up a Tata Trust that now owns the company 66%, just to help people, not for the family. To help. That's to tell you the kind of value that they've built. So it's possible to do the same thing in this country. And so the first port of call is to look at who will be changing the first port of call is to look at what should be done, building a legacy. It has to be an intentional process. Intentional process is not something that you just say, oh, yesterday I had a dream, and the dream was that we should sweep the floor today. Tomorrow I hope to have another dream. We should employ Modupe. And then on third day I have another dream. Nobody should go to work tomorrow because there will be disaster. So it has to be an intentional process of creating an impact that will be enduring. You set up the company first of all, and sometimes people get into trouble building a legacy of SMEs because the business is not well set up in the first place. So the first thing is to determine whether the business has been well set up. Is it incorporated? Is it registered? And so building a legacy entity is not a passive thing. You just have to be intentional because you want to build wealth. You want to build a legacy that goes beyond. It's okay. Don't worry. I said that, lasting legacy is measured by the lives you transform. It's not just the profits that you're making. I give you a sign, you move the slide ahead. So there are strategies that will have to be adopted to build legacy for SMEs. First of all, you define your core principles as an entity. You commit to small daily actions. And I remember that I said intentional. And then you practice the power of presence. You have to be present. You have to be devoted to that business. And then you have to mentor people. You have to create successors. Those who will take over, they don't have to be your relations. One of the big problems that SMEs have is that they want to bring in their relations and friends to be directors. These their relations and friends do not have the knowledge or experience. So they come in, they mess up the entity. And once they mess it up, you quarrel with them. They begin to quarrel with you who brought them in, and the entity will just go. So what I always advise owners of small businesses is don't bring your relations who do not. If they have the knowledge and experience, bring them in. If they don't. Bring those, even those you didn't know, to help you run the business together as a board. When you make money, you can give to those your relations. Don't bring them in when they don't know anything, because they will help you to destroy the business. So you have to mentor and empower successors. And then you also have to build systems. What are you using for the entity? And of course, you have to keep documenting what you're doing for others to follow. So we know the meaning of SMEs. Again, those going into small businesses must understand what an SME means. And go to the next one. These are different definitions, just for you to have. But go to the next slide. So if you need to build a legacy SME, you must create a business that will outlive its founder. That's the first thing to do. You must create a business that will outlive the founder. You must define the business. You must make sure that there will be financial solvency. That means that you will not cry that there's no money. Even when you borrow money, you must make sure that you pay when you borrow the money. So you have to build a business that will endure for decades. You must establish 5 foundational principles, pillars. There are 5 pillars that you must establish. What are those pillars? Vision beyond profit. Don't just say that I'm building this business only to make a profit. Because if you say that I'm building this business only to make a profit, you just make a profit and share and spend the profit, and then you won't invest in the future of the business, right? So you have to vision beyond profit. Define like 20, 30 years. Don't look at 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Or start making profit, we're excited. No. Just say to yourself, we've defined a period of 30 years at least. If we make a profit from year one, good. But we want to see the profit and the impact we will make in 30 years' time. So your dream, your vision is 30 years or more. It's not 2 years, it's not 3 years. So when you vision beyond profit, then you work towards that vision. And then you have to have systems. No, don't move, please. You have to have systems. You have to document every procedure. One of the problems with small businesses is that they don't have standard operating procedures. They don't. You have it here, don't you? They don't. If you ask a typical small business, can I see your standard operating procedure? Say, what do you mean by that? So they need to know that it's important to have standard operating procedures. They need to build systems. And when they have these procedures, it should not stay in the brain of the owner or the MD. Everybody in that organization must be trained. That's one other problem with achieving sustainability of SMEs. They don't train their staff. They just employ and believe that the Oga or the MD will tell them what to do. So except those things that the MD has told them, they don't know any other thing. The other thing they know is they come to work, there's a particular job they have to do, they do it and they go home. How can they contribute to developing the business? So you have to build the system and make it work. You have to separate personal from business assets. Don't mix your personal assets with business assets. If you set up a business, I know it can be difficult at the beginning. When you set up a business, you start using your own personal car. You start using your own personal laptops, all those things to start the business. There's nothing wrong with that. But as you move, build a plan that the assets of the business must be separate from the assets of the person who owns the company. Because the risk in not separating the assets is that you will use personal assets, and when you start buying company assets, you also start using them as if they are personal assets.
That's true.
And then they will destroy it. I mean, a man, very rich Nigerian who owns a paint company, who happens to be a friend of mine, he said, come and do asset verification for us. So I went with my team, and then we were verifying the assets. We couldn't see one of the cars. And everybody said, oh God, we don't know where it is. It's only Chief that can tell you. I went to him, I said, where's this car? I said, why do you want to see the car? I said, but you give us the job to do. That's the only one left. He said, okay, go to University of Lagos, you'll see it there. I said, what's the car doing there? He said, oh, my little boy who just got into Unilag is using it. I said, it's a branded car, official company car. He said, yes. I said, why did you give the boy? Is he a director? And they said, no, but it's my son. So I said, no, Chief. That boy will not use that car as a company car. He will use it. His friends will drive that car, even when he's not there. And that's one of the things that will create a problem. And this is one of the things that small businesses in this country suffer. Children will go and take the car, use the car. In fact, when there's a problem on Third Mainland Bridge, they abandon the car there. So when the managers need the car to go out, they won't have a car. The manager who is supposed to meet a client or customer cannot go. You can see the business is going down. Yeah. So separate personal from business assets. Diversify your revenue streams. We just straitjacket ourselves. I'm starting this business of, let's say, selling printing papers. And you say, it's only printing papers. Some people will even tell you, even those from your village, I face this printing paper. You want to join this, don't do it or you will fall. That's not true. The whole essence of diversifying your revenue sources is that if there's a risk crystallizing here, this other one, it's a portfolio. That's what you guys do, portfolio management. So you have to, if you start a small scale business, think of different lines that you can pursue, not just one. So that if this goes down, the other ones are working. But many small businesses in this country don't do that. Then shield corporate wealth. That's build a legal structure where the company is separate. You're a lawyer, a company is separate from the owners. So the owner will be trained and be telling his spouse, his wife or husband or children, I'm not this company, or this company, even though I own it, this company is separate from me. And we have to respect the structures that are there. If we don't do the right thing, we will get into trouble. There's a company in Kenya known as Kereche Breweries, owned 100% by a man and his wife. They evaded tax. The accountants, didn't pay a particular tax, they took them to court. It was the man and the wife that they took to court, not the accountant who didn't do it, right? When they got to court, their lawyer said, you can't charge them. Because the government lawyer said they cheated the company. and their lawyer said, no, they own the company 100%. And the government lawyer said, no, they are only shareholders. They have employees who are stakeholders. They have creditors who give them money. They have the government that they should pay tax to. They have the community that is hosting them. All these ones are stakeholders of the company. So when we say you've cheated the company, you as one stakeholder, shareholder, has cheated the others, right? So we're saying that you build structures to recognize that this business, you must create an impact that will also benefit those stakeholders. It's not just you and your family. Because when you think of those other stakeholders, you will do the right thing, right? So you shield corporate wealth and then have core values. Define core values. Move to the next. Integrity. And you keep preaching it. When you say our core value, one of our core values is integrity. It means that everybody in this company must act with integrity at all times. Right? You say excellence. It means that we have a core value that is excellence. But everything we do here, we must do excellently. So when you tell everybody, and somebody's going to work, he said, our core value is excellence. I must move this phone in an excellent manner. If I'm preparing a document, I came in this morning. When I walked in, I was a bit worried. When are we going to start? But we started 11. Exactly the time you appointed. Right? That's doing something excellently. That's the way that businesses should be run. Small-scale businesses don't do that. You tell a company, I'll come and advise you. The man or the woman tells me, please come and advise us. We need governance advice. And I will be there 2 hours waiting for them to come. That's not running a business. There's no way I won't be encouraged to go again to support them. So, core values. And then, nurture early stewardship. When you have a small business, don't say, when I get to 5 years, I'll start looking for people to work with me. No, there are people working with you, right? They don't believe in the future of the business because you have not encouraged them to believe in the future of the business. It's when you give them the impression that they are part of this business. That's when they walk as if they are the owners. But if you don't give them that impression, what will they do? Every morning they will use your papers to write application for a job. All right? Everybody's looking for a job. They won't devote time to... Some people will even see something wrong coming to the company and they keep quiet. Say, after all, I've gone for an interview. When I get the job, I'll leave this nonsense place. So, nurture early stewardship. Get people to understand. And then capacity building. Training. That's one of the key things that I've discovered that many Nigerian small businesses don't do. Training. They believe in the fact that once you start working, you will learn. You will learn on the job, or you need training. New systems of working. I went to a bank yesterday, Modukwe. We're setting up the family that I'm trying to help them set up an estate account. We just got the letters for admin. And I just walked to a bank close to my house. They give me account opening forms. I said there are 4 of them administrators. They need to open an estate account. And the young man then said, okay, wait for him. So I waited for some time. He was wasting my time. So I said, I'm going for a board meeting. He said, well, can I come and meet you there? I said, yes. He said, where? I said, Kingsway Road. He said, what do you mean by that? Where is that? I said, Kingsway Road in Ikoyi. He said, where is that? Wow. I said, Alfred Rewene. He said, okay, I know Alfred Rewene. So I said, you are too young. Because maybe you were born after
he was renamed.
But the message I was passing across to him was knowledge. You need to learn. You need to go beyond what you are seeing. That's the point, capacity building. You need to ask questions. There are people younger than that man that I will talk to about Kingsway Road. Now they say we know the place. So small businesses must build capacity. Train your staff so that your staff will know what they are supposed to do. Excuse me. All right? So draft your clear legal roadmap. One of the problems that small businesses in Nigeria have is that once you say consult a lawyer, something is coming up, you say consult a lawyer, you say, no, we don't want court matter. They just, because they have this impression that once a lawyer is involved, then there will be a court. Yeah. That's not true. Or once you consult a lawyer, you will pay a lot of money. That's not true. Some lawyers will provide you valuable services at a very minimum cost. Yeah. And it's about cost benefit. If you don't consult a lawyer, this morning I was reviewing, as early as 5 a.m., I woke up to review an agreement they sent to me. It got to a point I just got angry. I wrote to the people, said, this agreement has not been written by a lawyer.
Oh.
I just got angry after reviewing for some time. I said, this thing was not. I said, this cut and nail. And after some time, the MD replied me. He said, yes, it's our sales manager that put it together. I said, what kind of nonsense is that? Don't ever send me agreements to assist you to review. They won't pay me. Don't send me an agreement to review for you if it's not written by a lawyer. But what am I saying? Many small businesses don't engage lawyers to help them to prevent a problem.
That's true.
They need to get a lawyer. I'll talk about internal audit because that's also a critical thing that small businesses need. When you say to a small business in Nigeria, you have an internal auditor because most of the things will be covered by internal auditor. They say, no, we don't. Why? We can't afford it. So I said to them, last week I said to a group, I said, do you know what? Because you've not been told how it works. So if you employ an internal auditor, qualified accountant, you probably pay minimum 6 million a year for that internal auditor. There's no qualified accountant now who will take less than 500,000 naira a month. None. So it's a problem for small businesses. Yeah. But you can engage a small firm of auditors to do your internal audit work and you pay no more than 500,000 a year. They open their mouth. I said, yeah, I've introduced many firms of auditors to many of my small clients. I said, instead of employing someone to be there for, you pay 6 million a year, you pay 500,000. This guy will give you all the job that you need. And that's how I've been introducing some of those firms to them. So small businesses do not know. They need to open up. So you have a legal roadmap, adopt modern governance, corporate governance. Corporate governance, they miss it. So build quality governance infrastructure, have a board. Sometimes when I ask them, when I go to do family governance business consulting, I say, do you have a board? They say, no. I say, you have a board. They say, no, we don't have a board. I say, when you operated this company, it's a limited liability company. They say, yeah. I say, you told CAC that these are our first director. They say, yeah, that's true. I say, that's your board. The problem is that you're not conscious of it. You don't have board meeting. You don't have a governance structure. You now need to build. That's one of the things I do for small businesses, and I do it pro bono. I just see them. I help them to structure their board. I say, this is your board. Do training. Do this. Do training for them because I want them to grow. I want them to build these businesses as sustainable businesses.
So I think many of these businesses see they see the incorporated entity, the people that they nominate as their directors on the incorporation forms as just for the purpose of incorporating the company.
I agree with you. And
so beyond that, they don't think they have any use.
Even those that they put there as their first directors, many of them don't even remember that they are directors.
Exactly.
And yet, when there's a problem, a legal issue, and they sue directors, the lawyer will go and collect the CAC 7 in Abuja in CAC and see the names of directors and sue them. I have a client now. He was sued. He didn't know he was a director. He said, no, I wasn't a director. I don't know why they sued me. I said, I've looked at the documents. He said, okay, this guy 7 years ago told me was setting up a company, wanted me to be one of his directors. I said, you're a director. Incidentally, he happens to be the only one who has money. The other 6 didn't have money. So when the other company got judgment against them, they went to him. He lost 120 million naira because of a debt of 7 million.
Wow.
The judgment debt was just 7 million. They took his generating set, 100 kVA, took his cars, took his sales van. These are the things that small businesses don't know. That's why they need a lawyer. And as I said, if they are listening to me, please don't be afraid of talking to a lawyer. Discuss with a lawyer to assist you to structure the business legally. If the lawyer tells you 10 million, you can walk away, look for another one that will give you what you want at a minimum cost. Governance, set up your board. Have the policies. You may not have all the policies, just have the policy. Have a financial control system. This is where that internal auditor will help you. You may not have, if you just started, you may not have a strong senior accountant that will help you to develop that. You can, but you may say that it's very expensive. So you have that internal auditor to help you to build financial control system. They don't have it. That's one of the reasons why many small businesses die. They don't know what their profit is. They don't know what their cost is. They dip their hands into monies that have come in. When they now need money, they will not have that money. Training and development. Risk management, they don't know anything about it at all. Many, not all, some know. But every business must know what is risk. And I tell my colleagues, the problem is that you confuse some of these small business owners. You bring technical words. Risk is just about this business. What can go wrong? Let's put our heads together and think of what can go wrong. That's the risk. That what can go wrong is that we will not have cash. You say, if we will not have cash, what can we do now so that we don't get to a station where we will not have cash? We are managing risk. What can go wrong? Our staff may resign and we will not have staff. If that is the case, what can we do to keep them? Right? There may be fire that will destroy our premises. If we know that that may happen, that's risk. What should we do to ensure that it doesn't happen? Not just insurance, fire extinguishers, all those things. Train people to fight fire when it happens. That's risk management. You look at different areas where you believe things can go wrong. A road seller of rice can say, what's the risk that I have? See, the road seller is carrying rice from the house to a bus stop. What can go wrong? A car can hit her and the thing falls. If that is the case, what can I do so that it doesn't happen? I will not walk close to the road. I make sure that I move away from that. That's what we're talking about. Risk management is about what can go wrong. So let's think ahead of what we can do. Training and development, move it. Training and development, and then don't get into the founder's trap. The founder's trap is that if the company collapses or the founder becomes sick, then the business. Let me give you a joke. An Igbo man, had 12 children, 12 boys. So he had a shop. He was doing well. All the boys were working in that shop, that business. They were doing well. So usually they will all go to work. That day, he said they should go first, that he will join them later. So when they got to the shop, after some time, the man was not there. So they called and said, where is daddy? They said, well, they've rushed daddy to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
After you people left, the man collapsed. So they all went to the hospital. They shut the shop, shut it, let's go. They got to the hospital, 12 of them. The man was not seeing, he had closed his eyes, but he could talk. So the first one greeted him, daddy, sorry. He said, oh, Emeka, is it you? Okay. The second one greeted him, oh, fine, is it you? As they greet, he knew their voices. When the last one greeted him, he said, Sunday, all of you are here, who is in the shop? That's a man who was dying.
Nobody.
He wasn't happy that they all went there and that there was nobody in the shop. All right? So you can see, even with illiteracy, the man had the idea that the business must go on, even if he died. But we're talking about founder's trap. If you don't have that mindset that business should go up, when the founder dies or gets sick, the business will go. That's why you must build successors, develop managers, Don't just say the person must be from your town or the person must be from your village or family. You have to build successors. And then you have to have technology, a bit of technology. Some small businesses, they don't even have laptops. They keep using manual. It won't work because there will be lots of mistakes. And then financial bookkeeping. The internal auditor will help them to do it. I keep talking about this internal auditor. Then their bankers, they should be close to their bankers. Many of them deposit a lot of money in the bank. Nobody talks to them. They don't even know the account officer. So there are solutions. Delegation of authority, have good financial systems, have financial control, and then corporate governance. Sometimes there's lack of accountability and transparency in those businesses. The person says, I own the company, I'll do whatever I like. Doing whatever I like means you will kill the business. Follow the procedure. Comply with laws and regulations. Many of them don't comply with laws and regulations. What usually happens is that when the government agency comes to enforce law, the owner will run away. When he runs away, he may run abroad, running thinking that he's running away from the agency. The business will do what? The business will collapse. They may even seal up the business because of a small compliance risk that has crystallized. So they have to be accountable. And then risk management, I've talked about the internal control system. And then overbearing influence of the chairman or the owner is also a problem. It's not just the owner. The spouse of the owner. The man owns a business, the wife is not on the board. The wife is not involved in running the business. But the wife just comes in one morning and says, hey, all of you come here. And start controlling them. She doesn't even know where the man is working from. Or the wife owns the business, her husband comes and says, all of you come here. He doesn't know where the wife is coming from. All right? But if you have a structured system, if the owner is sick, the wife or husband will not go. Because when you don't have a structured system, when the owner is sick, the wife will go to keep the place. But she has not been trained to do it.
That creates a big problem.
A big problem. Yeah. She has not been trained. So we have to do training, separate roles. Compensate your staff. That's one problem they have. You don't have to use the money in the whole world to pay them. But just look at similar businesses, compensate them so you can retain them. Give them the impression, when we were young boys and girls, we went for interview, squad those days. They say, you people are very good as trainees, management trainees. You will aspire to all the positions in this company except position of MD.
What?
So when we left the place, I told my friend, I'm not going to take this appointment. They say it's reserved for the owners, the French people. I said, I'm not going to take this job. He said, but we're looking for a job. Let's just take it. I said, no. If they've told us that we could aspire to any level except the MD. He said, but if you get to the ED, you can leave. I said, for saying that, I'm not going. So what am I trying to say here? The owner of a small business must create that opportunity and say, you don't have to be my son. You can be the MD. Everybody here, once you work hard, you can be the MD. See, people will work hard. People will make sure that they won't steal because they know there's a future. And then this board thing that I talked about is very important. Don't employ unqualified people. Make sure that you employ qualified people. Move the slide, please. And then, so you can see failures. There are examples of failures where businesses failed because the owners didn't know what to do. They didn't consult a lawyer. They did not consult an accountant. They didn't operate the board governance system. And the directors were sued. They say, I own this company. Why are you suing me? He said, because you've not done what the law says. He said, but nobody told me. You should have consulted a lawyer. There are many business owners in jail today for things they thought they were doing right, but they were not doing right. They didn't know. So some of the small businesses fail because of that. They are not sustainable. They work for 2-3 years, they close up, they close shop. You see an owner of the business, maybe EFCC is coming. He didn't commit the offense, but something happened, EFCC is coming. He said, EFCC. He runs away. He goes abroad. She shut down that office until they leave. What's happening? The business is falling. But if he had a lawyer, he will consult, who will look at it? Because when we talk about building legacies of SMEs, people only look at the money side. that you must keep making profit. That's why I said it's not just profit. You have to go beyond profit. You have to look at compliance. Because profit you make in a year, compliance in 1 week can destroy the company, can take down the system. So you have to talk to a lawyer. Don't issue false financial statements. The law says if you don't prepare financial statement that is accurate and has integrity, you go to jail. That's section 371 to 392 of CAMA. But many small businesses don't know this. They just say, I just prepared the thing, don't mind government. One day,
the hen will come home to roost.
monkey will go to market and will not come back. Is that not how we say it?
That's true.
Because one serious regulator will just come and say, go and, by the way, now, we're trying to develop Financial Reporting Council, Corporate Governance Code for SMEs.
Oh, that's good.
It will come out soon by God's grace. If it comes out, the SMEs will be bound by the code. And it's important that the owners of small businesses get to know some of these things so that they don't do things that is anti-compliance and get into trouble. But the whole idea of that code is to help them to make their businesses sustainable. So there will be things that they will be asked to do from time to time so that the governance can be very good. We're almost there now. So governance, so they have to know what governance means, corporate governance. They just have to be taught the systems by which companies are directed and controlled. That directed means there's a board that is directing them as to what to do, not just the owner, but the board. And control means that there are control systems. I talked about financial control system that is there that everybody must follow. If everybody does not follow it, they only follow what the owner says, the company will not last. The company will just fail. Go to the next one. And then you ask questions. Who owns this company? What's the objective for setting up this company? Right? What are the core values of this company? What are the core values of this company? And then these are the principles they must imbibe. Accountability, transparency, integrity, responsibility, independent. That accountability, the owners must know that he's not accounting to himself. He's accounting to all those who own the company. If he owns it 100%, he has to account to government so that government will know how much tax that is going to pay. He has to account to employees, how he's running the business and making employees to feel comfortable that the business will continue. Transparency, integrity, responsibility, and all that. He has to do all those. So he has to adopt good governance to achieve long-term sustainability. That's what we're talking about here, building legacy. If you don't do all these things, code of conduct and ethics to say this is how we do things, nobody should do the wrong thing. If anybody does the wrong thing, there will be sanction. Even if the person working with you is your son, if he does the wrong thing, there will be sanction. And then it will also help you to do all this. Move. We're running. You can see that guy in chain. That guy in chain, the MD of a company, I didn't want to show his face, the MD of a company that he owned in the US. The guy was taken to court and jailed. That was where they were taking him out of the court. So if the owner of the business could be jailed for things that were done in that company, how much more those that are here that are SMEs? Yeah. That's why I brought that picture. Because if you don't do well, if you don't do the business well as a small business, your reputation will be smeared. People would say that you don't have reputation and there will be criminal liability. So you have to establish all these internal controls, right? And that please, every small business that cannot afford to employ an internal auditor should engage a firm. I've said it, you can save a lot of money by engaging a small firm. You can pay no more than 500,000 a year rather than paying 6 million to someone. I'm not saying don't employ an accountant, but if you cannot, don't run away, because the problem is that they say, I can't pay, so they won't do that activity. You can get a firm of auditors because that activity of internal control is very important. And that's part of what will help you to sustain this business for a very long time. So these are board governance frameworks. These are the things that they can look at to set up their board. And then board and management, the interface must be strong. The management are the ones who run the business. The board just oversees what they do. If management wants to put you in trouble, they'll put you in trouble. That's true. So they are the ones that prepare all the documents. The board, the owner should not just sit back and say, don't mind those people, I employ them. they will put you in trouble. So you have to build a relationship with them that guarantees that they will not only make profit for you, they will build a future for the business. That's why sometimes you need to give shares to them. You need to say, okay, this company that I own 100%, I'm going to give 10, 15, 20% to staff. Let me hold 80%. The staff will say, oh, we are now part of this business. Everybody, look, what are you doing there? You see somebody who owns maybe 10 shares, say, what are you doing there? Don't spoil this company. Because he now knows
he has some interest.
So employee share scheme is one critical thing that small businesses must begin to think of. If they do that, people will stay and say, we own this business. The man has given me and I have 2%. Maybe in 2 years' time, I may have 5% or more. Some banks were doing it. When we were in FCMB, Lawa will tell you, there was employee share scheme. The only thing is that if you resign, you sell it back to the company, they give you the money. But if you remain, the shares, it grew. So that's part of the thing that they can do to build this relationship. And then these are the critical success factors. That man or woman who owns that company must be an ethical person. If you cheat the company, staff see that you are taking money away, they will help you to take money away. But if they see that this man or woman is strict, the money doesn't go away, the money goes back into the business. Nobody will try to do that. That's tone at the top. But if you start moving money, your children come, they go to cashier, give us money, it's our father's company. Those other staff will assist you to take money away. And that's what happens with small businesses. So that relationship is very important. Know your business, know it, get everybody to know the business, act with integrity, evaluate what you're doing. This is one other thing that small businesses don't do, Bodekwe. Every year, the owner and the top staff should sit back and say, let us check how we have done this year. Because what they do is they look at the profit, they say, we have done well. Oh. That's not evaluation. That's okay. Let us look at all the aspects of job. Have we complied with laws? Have we made good profit? Is our cost less now? Has our board been meeting well? Have we complied with law? Have we done this? That's evaluation. You just sit back and say, we'll not look at only profit. Let's look at all that. Have we helped the community that's hosting us? Did we donate anything to them this year? Did we give scholarship? Did we do this? Have we helped our staff? Have they been trained this year? So you sit back, have a forum. Just say tomorrow or next week, we're going to have an evaluation forum of the owner and all staff, where you talk about things that the company has done. That's one of the things you can use to grow the business and make it sustainable. Wow. That's internal audit that I talked about. You can see what internal audit can do for you. So separate the founder's identity from the company's identity. Because once the founder's identity is the same as that of the company, you have a big problem. And the way to separate it is to build the structures that I've been talking about. So you build systems. The man is just the architect, he's just the operator. And then succession planning. This is very important. Who will succeed the owner? Who will take over from this other person in 2 years, in 3 years, in 4 years? And then define your future, financial stability, and then define your market. Almost there. So you have your team, build your team, make it a dream team. Just say this team will be a dream team, where everybody understands what's going on in the company. Everybody knows the roles, the objectives, and everybody is working to achieve the objectives. So plan for future growth. That's it. So future growth is not just future profit. Future growth means you reinvest your profits, you adapt to new technology. Don't go and overspend on technology. Just spend in accordance with what you think you can, based on your resources, but make sure that you get involved. Monitor market shifts. Again, some of them don't monitor market shifts. Let me give you an example. Many small businesses, when fuel prices of crude oil, because of the war in Iran, went up, what did Dangote do?
He jacked up his price.
He moved up the price, right? Dangote was not the only one, but for oil, petrol, he moved up the price, right?
Yes.
That's within a short time. When prices started coming down, did they move as fast?
No.
Okay. Many small businesses will have goods in the warehouse.
the price of the goods in the market will go up. They will still be selling at the old price. They are not taking advantage of the price outside. That's what is known as replacement costing, because if they want to go and buy that same thing in the market, they cannot buy the old price. So these are the things they will be trained to know and plan for the future and make sure that, and then avoid bringing people on the board who will create problems. Once you see, give them tenure. Every board member, you stay 4 years, you leave, another set will come. Some who are good can stay 10 years or beyond 10 years. And then you can identify those that are not doing well for your board. Don't be sentimental. Once you find that a member of the board is not doing well, you say, well, good knowing you. You've done well for us. You can say it's done well. Maybe it has not done. But we thank you for what you have done for us. And then you look for someone who will come in and assist you. So 2 critical things. Small businesses, consult people, professionals. Don't be afraid of money. Some of these professionals will not cost you a lot of money, but you may lose a lot by not consulting them. Consult them to help structure your business, build your governance framework, build your financial control system, give you internal audit services and financial services, and then make sure that you take care of staff. And I've talked about employee share scheme as one of the strategies. If you do all this, training regularly, for you, the owner believes he doesn't need training, that even if he believes in training, staff should go. The owner needs training. Directors now, even chairman of boards go for training because circumstances are changing. So training, look after your staff, build a good relationship with staff, define a structure, consult lawyers, have an internal auditor, think about tomorrow. Don't just think about profit. Have a vision of like 30 years and say to yourself at the end, this business must outlive me. And I must do all these things for this business to outlive me. If all these things are done, small businesses will do well and remain forever. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Wow,
so much,
that was
sir.
quite enlightening.
Engaging.
Can we check if we have questions in the chat room? Any questions there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's one question here. It says, well done, sir. How important is intellectual property in building long-term business value? And when should startup begin protection innovations?
Yeah, intellectual property is very important. It's one of the assets that a business has. It's a good question because some small businesses don't even know anything about intellectual property. So it's when they consult experts, the expert will look at the business and say, this is intellectual property. Go and register this so that you can protect it, right? There are many businesses that have had some intellectual property assets and have sold them and made a lot of money. But you can keep them and use them to improve your business, like the name, discoveries, innovation, things that you've done that have engendered, intellectual property in building long-term business. Yeah, the value. Startups you don't have to wait. Once you start your business and there's intellectual property, don't wait. Just go and register it and protect it. Don't wait. There's nothing like, it's a small business, let us not wait. Others will see it and take it. So you just need to make sure that from the word go, there's intellectual property, and you safeguard it and protect it. It's very important because it can help you to build long-term value.
Any other question?
We've read this.
Okay, that's the only question in the chat room. Okay, so, sir.
Another staff
question.
compensation is very important. It breeds employee motivation and productivity. Okay, just a comment.
Contribution.
And that's a very good contribution. That's why I said compensation is not just salaries. Compensation includes so many things like the employee share scheme that I talked about. So it's part of what will motivate staff and get them to stay. Because you are not just building for profit, you are building for tomorrow. You want to make an impact. You want a business that can outlive you. So motivating your staff through compensation, schemes can help a lot in doing that.
Okay.
Thanks for inviting the speaker. He's great and sharing his work.
Creating a business that will outlive its founder. No complaint.
No, I think he was.
Is that a question?
No.
Okay, okay.
It's just a comment.
So At this junction, I would like us to dwell a little bit more on succession planning, because this is the crust of the matter when it comes to creating a legacy business.
Yes.
So for the typical small scale enterprise out there, for example, somebody that was working in a blue chip company before, or a conglomerate, and decides, okay, I think I have a business idea. I want to go into hairdressing. And in this hairdressing outfit, I'm going to have the barber's corner, I'm going to have the female corner, I'm going to have a boutique, and envisions this and starts the business. Now, how would you advise this individual to create a structure that will engender the ability to have a successor when he or she is no longer able to actively participate in the business, such that the business, I noticed that this level of businesses usually don't get passed to the next generation. When I was growing up, there were some hairdressing salons that were quite big, well established, very popular out there, that are no longer there today. How do we move from just establishing for the here and now to ensuring that this kind of businesses outlive the owners, beyond the incorporation of the company and stuff like that?
That succession planning, that's why I talked about it in the course of the very, very important. Without succession planning, no business, because the man or woman will not be there forever. If you don't develop a succession plan, when the man dies, the business goes. When the woman dies, close to you here, Ajayi Memorial Hospital.
I was going to cite that.
Right? When the man died in an accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway many years ago, I think 1981 or 82. Since then, you can see the building. It's been like that since then. All right? So if there was succession plan, somebody would have taken over. I mean, there could have been other reasons why it's like that. But I suspect that the issue of succession plan will be one of them. So what to do, because this is a very critical part of what we're discussing. So the owner may not know how to build a succession plan. Again, it takes me back to the issue of professional. Don't be scared. The owner businesses, those who own small business should not be scared about cost. Make an attempt and say, I need somebody to help us develop a succession plan, right? And start talking to the professional. If the cost is too much, you look for another person. But don't make an assumption that I'm not going to get a professional to help us develop succession plan because somebody has told me that it's costly. That's not the way to approach it. Just get a professional with about 150,000, 200,000. You get someone who will come here and say, okay, we know what to do for you. We'll develop a succession plan and train you on how to implement it. Once he develops it, he trains you on how to implement it. He doesn't need to come back because now he has developed and trained you. He will be the one that will be reviewing it from time to time. And when the owner of the business sees the workability of the plan when he's implementing and sees the value, he will be excited. Continue to do it. So that succession plan is very, very, in fact, is even more important than many of the things like we talked about intellectual property. Because once you have a succession plan, you are building a future stream of those that will run the business even when you get old.
That's quite interesting. Thank you so much, sir. So from what we have said so far, my takeaway from this is that for you to have a business that will outlive you, it starts from the onset, from your conception of the business idea.
Correct.
Before you even incorporate the idea, you need to have a vision, you need to have a goal, you need to think ahead and plan towards, that legacy that you want to, leave.
Have that vision. Say more than 30 years, can be 40 years. You can say that today.
In perpetuity, even.
You can say today that I'm 50 years old. But I want to retire at 70. But I want this business to be there when I'm 100. Even if I'm not up to 100, I want the business to continue in perpetuity. So you have that mindset.
and then you build a succession plan and quality people. As I said, don't just bring your relations who don't know anything. Bring those who know something. And when you make money, you can give to your relations and your friends. So like you said, it's just have this vision before you even take the documents to CAC to register. This is the kind of business I want to build. This is the kind of people that will work with me. This is the kind of succession plan that we'll have. With that, we'll get it.
So on a final note, I would like Doctor to just give us one or two reasons why most small-scale businesses fail in Nigeria. Just maybe one or two reasons.
Well, one of the reasons why small-scale businesses fail in Nigeria is because the owners are not different from the business. The business makes money, they say it's my money. They take the money away, they don't reinvest. You can't be flogging a sheep, a dead horse. So they don't reinvest. The second one is that many of them don't even understand the business. They just want to sell and make money, right? So they don't have the structures, and that's the more important one that I'm talking about. They don't have the structures that can enable the company to be bankable. Because they don't have a governance structure, they don't have a compliance structure. These are the things. They don't have an internal auditor that can do something. When they go to the bank for facility, they don't get facilities because the bank will say, you're not bankable. We can't give you money. We don't trust that business will be there tomorrow. So they get frustrated and the business will fail. So they need to build this structure so that the business can be bankable, so that the banks will look at what they have and say, they're asking for 100 million, but we can give them 50. But if you don't have these structures in place, many of them don't know that the reason why banks cannot give them facilities is because they don't have these structures in place. So they need to build these structures. I'm not saying that they must go to the bank for money, but so that when they need the support of the bank will easily support.
On a lighter note, sir, someone asked, he said, with the Akara business, we are being encouraged to start. Would you please share practical steps on how best to get started and build it into a successful business?
Set up. I don't know if you people have heard about. No, hold on. I don't know if you've heard about Lekki Akara.
Lekki Akara, no.
Oh, it's a company, full-fledged company.
Wow.
They make Akara. You just go there and so you call them. You go to their website. You log in, order Akara. 15-30 minutes, they deliver it to you. And they have different brands, different types of Akara. If you go there, you see motorcycles, people delivering, plenty of them. People drive in there to order Akara. Now they've added pap. You can order Akara and pap. Before, there was no pap. Maybe I was the one who didn't know. But now, you can order Akara. You can go there, eat it with pap. You can order it, they deliver it to the house.
Wow.
Now, you go there, you see they have sales girls. They have delivery boys and girls. They have a structure. They have an MD. They have a structure.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So the person should go and see what they are doing there. But what it means is that even if it's Akara you want to start, you have to think of who will work with me. Am I going to make only Akara? That's why I said different income streams. Will I add pap? Will I add this? Or
bread.
Bread. They do also sell bread there. You know, you see people there eating Akara with bread in Lekki there. No, well made. What location should I have so that this Akara will sell? What's the quality that I will make so that who should I have to tell me feedback? Feedbacks. People will be telling you this Akara is good or it's not good here, so you can be changing.
Yes.
So these are the systems that the person. So this person, don't worry, just structure it well. Your own may be the biggest. You may be known as Lagos Akara, Surulere Akara, and you will make it. Just face it and make sure that just put the structures we've discussed in place. You will see what wonders that will happen.
Okay. Well, we're going to call it a day, but it's like we'll just take that last question before we round up.
You say changing macroeconomic dynamics has great influence on businesses. How does a business owner who has all the right things in place, but that's the point I made about risk management, managing risk. Because we used to own a factory, manufacturing motorcycles. Government supported us. We set up the factory in Abulegba. After like 4 years, the government started allowing, what do they call it?
Importation of Okada.
Fairly used. Our own were brand new. That time we're selling them for 100,000, 150,000. The Okada was 15,000.
Oh, wow.
People said, if I buy the Okada, use it for 2 years, recover my 15, buy another one. Why should I buy your 100,000 brand new? So it affected our business and we shut it down.
Wow.
So the macroeconomic circumstances can affect your business. Government can change the policy. There can be flooding. There can be so many things that can create forex can be a problem. Interest rate can go up, inflation. All you need to do is risk management. Say, what can go wrong? That's what I said at the beginning. How can we plan so that if it happens this way, we're able to weather the storm? You may not weather the storm 100%, but you'll be able to weather the storm to some extent. You don't just set up the business and sit down and say, we've set it up, we must succeed. You will succeed, or you have to think of what may go wrong. Plan ahead. Plan ahead that if this goes wrong, we have a strategy in place to deal with the situation.
So running a business, you can't rest on your oars and think that things will run themselves.
Continue to run smoothly, You just have to anticipate that problems may come. If we now know that problems may come, let's put this in place. Just like I use fire extinguisher as example. You say, there may be fire incident. Let's put fire extinguishers in place. One of my old friends were selling ACs in John Hole then. He bought ACs. I said, okay, buy fire extinguishers. He said, I don't need fire extinguishers. I said, no, buy. I said, no, I don't need fire extinguishers. One day, he just came on his own. He said, okay, tell your boys to package fire extinguishers for me. Let me just buy. You've been troubling me. He bought. He lives in Shula, Adegoke Street there. And they installed it. 2 days later, not him, his neighbor. His neighbor's house.
Caught fire.
2 a.m. Everybody was shouting. Do you know how they quenched the fire? The fire extinguisher from this guy. The man whose house was engulfed by fire didn't have fire extinguishers. He said, I have fire extinguishers. So he came in the morning, the following morning, he said, I need more fire extinguishers. I said, you just bought. He said, I've used it. This is what happened last night.
Wow.
He said that when I came some days ago, it was God that sent me because that
It
man's
could have
house
affected his house.
his own. He said, I gave them because I didn't want the thing to affect my house. So that managing risk, knowing that things may not go smoothly.
That's true.
So you have to plan. And you need an expert to also help you to
guide
think.
you, yes.
Those who have had the experience, who can guide you, and it's easy to run a business. So people think it's very difficult. There can be stress here and there. Even to eat, sometimes it's stressful. To eat, you say, I don't have time, but let me just quickly eat. You start eating, you are rushing, you have, you need water and all that. So there's nothing that is stress-free. But to run a business is not as difficult as many people think. It's just that they don't put the structures in place. They don't get people to support them in terms of advice. Once they do that, it's okay.
It's like now that we want to close
Our audience, they keep sending in questions
now. So can we take maybe one more or two more?
Okay, there's one here. It says, what governance do investors typically expect in place before considering investing?
Investors, what do they consider?
Yeah, before it said, what governance do investors typically expect in place before considering investing?
Governance structures.
Yeah, before investing, not setting up business. You need to look at the board. How is the board structures? Who are those on the board?
On the board.
Because if you have criminals on the board, I will tell you, don't invest. The business may be looking as if they are doing well. These are criminals. You will invest now, one day, the whole thing will disappear.
Money will disappear.
If you have credible people, you don't need to know them as persons. You just profile them. That's one governance structure if you have in place. 2, the structures of controls. Do they have controls, mechanisms of governance control? You have to find out. Do they have a good internal auditor? Because that's the person who should be safeguarding the governance system. Do they have it? Do they have a compliance system? Or they don't? If they don't have a compliance system, the compliance risk may crystallize just one night or day, and the whole business will disappear. So these are the things you will check. And when they ask you to invest, ask them, even if it's a public offer, what are you going to use this money for? Are you just going to collect this money and say you are now investors? and you don't do anything with the money.
Just like some firms, that came to the market during.
And today they are not there
they are no
anymore.
longer there. They raised money from the capital market,
Yes.
and
So you question them. What are you going to use this money for? If I invest in your company, they should tell you that, and they know there's legal liability. If they say in the prospectus that this is what we use the money for, if they don't, you can get the government to charge them because it's criminal liability. But many people don't do that. So read the prospectus very well to know what they want to do with the money. If it's the one that is not coming to the public, it's just a small private business, know the owners, know the directors. Find out, profile them, what they've been doing. One of the things you must check, if the company is not PLC, look at the cases they have, their litigations.
Yes.
Because they may have heavy litigations that in a year or two
They can
have judgment against them. Exactly.
Yes.
So for private entities that you can't have their documents openly, one of the critical things you will look at is these litigations. What cases do they have? Who are the directors? Who are those running the business?
There are two questions, but I'll try to marry them. From
there's one question there.
Are these pillars also applicable to big organizations? Yeah, the pillars are applicable. You need to have the financial control system. You need to have integrity systems. You need to have all those things in place. But the reason I emphasize it is that the small-scale businesses think they are not applicable to them. They are applicable to them. So they are pillars that many big entities use to sustain their businesses. And the small-scale businesses can use them just on a smaller scale to sustain their businesses for a long time.
There's a comment there.
We just say, well done.
Well
Vision beyond profit is noted, sir.
Okay. So is that all?
Yes.
Any more questions?
No, that will be all.
Wow. Thank you so very much, Doctor. I know that if we continue, many more questions will come in, but we also understand that you have a very tight schedule.
Yes, I do.
And you have to be somewhere hereafter. So thank you. On this note, we just want to bring this webinar to a close. We hope our viewers out there have enjoyed this webinar and that you have been able to learn a few things and gain some new insights into how to run a business to ensure that it remains sustainable and then outlive you to the extent that you also leave it as a legacy entity far into the future to become one of those very well-known entities like Walmart, like
correct.
Tata Group, like he mentioned in the course of his discussion. It is doable. Nigeria can do it. We can do it. Dangote has started. UBA has started. And so many other companies are also looking forward to building businesses that will remain a legacy business. On this note, we want to thank you for being a part of today's webinar and thank our guest speaker for taking out time in on this very rainy day to attend to our invitation. God bless you, and we hope that next time when we invite you, you will be willing to oblige.
I will come excitedly. I didn't know that you have such an organized. When you said webinar, I said, okay, we'll just go there, use our laptops. When I walked in here, I was shocked, and it's commendable. Well done. Good job.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you.
I also want to thank the audience for engaging us. I'm sure you have learned several things. It's not just about learning. To be good for us to also implement those things that we learn so that our business can thrive beyond us. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Appreciate you.
And have a lovely day. See you next time. Yeah.